Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, and today we're gonna to paint this adorable painting with a girl and a dog. This painting I call A Place to Breathe.
So let's start with the sketch. We'll make a rough sketch and begin with the sky. For the sky, we'll need white, pink, a bit of light purple, cobalt blue, and light blue. To make the first layers easier and faster to apply, use a large wide brush. When the first layer is dry, you can move on to the second layer. Here you can use a round brush but a smaller one. The left side will be darker and the right side lighter, creating a gradient. When the second layer is dry, you can start painting the clouds. To make it easier, outline them with chalk. Chalk is easier to erase than pencil. For the clouds, we also use round brushes of all sizes to make them as detailed as possible. Be careful with the colors because they should turn out light and airy. For them, we'll use white, light purple, Naples flesh, and just a little cobalt blue. You can use a bit more water on the clouds to blend the colors. My sky changed a bit because of the sky. I added a slightly more pink tone to the blue. Let's start painting the distant hill. It shouldn't stand out too much, so use more white mixed with blue-green. We'll also need yellow and pink. You can use a bit of cobalt blue for shadows. To make it even more muted, wait until this layer is completely dry and then go over it with a dry brush and white paint. Make sure to wipe most of the paint off the brush before applying it. Moving on to the distant forest, we'll make the first layer with an olive color. For detailing the trees, take a small angled brush. For the forest, we'll use cobalt blue, olive, dark green, a bit of yellow, and white. To mute everything again, use white on a dry, round brush. Go a little lower and move to the foreground. You can use a fan brush to work faster. For the foreground, we'll use olive, dark green, yellow, white, and cobalt blue. Try not to use too much white now. Small details can be done with a small brush. At the very bottom, we'll add small rocks using brown Naples flesh and a bit of ochre. We prepare some water with tree reflections using dark green. The right side is done the same way as the left. You can add a tiny bit of red to a small clearing, and below we'll also add rocks. I also prepared the water so the layer would set and we don't have to wait for it to dry. Moving on to the water. First, we'll paint the tree reflections. Use the same colors as for the trees, but with more white and blue tones added. In some places, I added Naples flesh. Go over it with a dry white brush to reduce brightness. Do the same on the other side. Now we can move on to the water itself. For the water, take the same colors as for the sky, since the water should reflect the sky. Closer to the shoreline in the foreground, make it slightly darker and add a bit of dirt using ochre with blue. You can also lightly glaze the water with a pinkish tone using a dry brush. Make sure to add light streaks like waves. You can use a fan brush to add shimmering highlights on the water. For the rocks in the foreground, use brown, ochre, white, green, and cobalt blue so the colors stay harmonious. I didn't detail them too much because they will be covered by grass. Moving to the very foreground, you can use a fan brush to paint the grass faster. For the grass, use the same colors as for the trees. For the path, use more ochre mixed with white, and at the edges add more brown for the shadow cast by the grass. Don't forget about flowers. When we're done with the grass, we can move on to painting the characters. To make it easier, I usually transfer the shape onto paper and then cut it out. I simply place it against the screen and trace it. I'll start with the dog. I mix black using brown and cobalt blue. For the white fur, I also add a little cobalt blue. In the light areas, I add a bit of ochre. I paint the shadows using cobalt blue with a wet brush. Now I move on to the girl. It's best to start with the head. Only skin tones are used here. In darker areas, we add blue. For the skin, you can add a tiny bit of red.